two variables. So what are the two different variables here? Let's identify those.
Time and money. Problem solved in money.
Yeah, time would not be variable here because time is 20 minutes, right? So you guys got it correct the second time. It's problem solved and money earned. So now let's figure out which one is the independent and which one is the dependent variable.
Money depends on number of problems.
Money depends on problems worked. I agree with that. So if money depends on problems, money depends when we say is a function of, we would say money is a function of problems worked. I'm gonna change it to money earned. I just think that makes more sense. Money earned is a function of problems worked. Oh gosh, I'm doing a terrible job. I'm missing my Apple Pencil. I broke the tip of it. I gotta wait till we get new money so I can order replacements. Hopefully in October. Not me having money, but the school will give me money. I'm not broke until October, so don't pick up a collection. What? Well, so I could get like some kind of heat censored stylus, but the problem is I've tried a stylus before, and it registers both the stylus and my hand, and so when I write, it's not pretty. So I used to have a glove that I had to wear that I tried to not register my hand, and it still didn't work very well. So then I gave up on that, and I learned how to write just using my finger. And I got that pencil at the end of last year and loved it. And then I just dropped it like Friday. So now I'm devastated. Okay, complete the following table to show how much money Jenny and Gennaro earn for each number of problems that they work correctly. Be sure you understand the labels for each column. So, if they worked 5 problems correctly in 20 minutes, what a shame. Okay? How much would Jenny earn for doing that? And how did you find that? $2 per problem times 5 problems worked, which is 10. Okay, that's what they want us to use there in the process column. What about for Gennaro?
3 per problem.
He would be 3 times 5, which would be 15. Okay, let's do the next one together. What if they worked 10 problems correctly? Jenny would be 2 times 10, which is 20. Gennaro would be 3 times 10, which is 30. Can you guys fill out the rest of that chart? So it would be, I'm just going to try to do this kind of quickly. This would be 30, and then 40, and then 100, and then 200. This one should be 45, then 60, and then 150, and then 300. Right? What about that last row? What if they worked in problems? How much money would Jenny have made working in problems? 2 times in. Huh. Interesting. And Gennaro. 3 times in. You guys can't see the green, can you? 3 times n. So now that we found it for any number of problems, which is why we use n represents any number of problems we could come up with. What is a function rule? This is kind of confuses people sometimes. You see this g sub 1? That's just telling me what it wants me to name my dependent variable. They want me to name it g sub 1. So that little 1 means nothing other than it's the first function we name g. Okay? Don't let that little subscript 1 confuse you. I wish they didn't do that right now. But so write a rule for a function g sub 1 that gives the money earned by Jenny when she's solved n problems using function notation. So what would that rule look like? It would be, anybody got a guess? See, that just scares y'all off, don't it? Just that whole, it shouldn't scare you off. So, okay, so let's start with, how much money would Jenny earn if she worked n problems? 2n. So that is the function rule. That's the function rule. That's how we find the output. And so how could I put this in function notation? That's scientific notation.
Oh, yeah.
Not function notation. What does function notation look like? F of x equals some number. Yeah, so in this case, we would say f of x equals 2n would be the normal. But this would, don't write that down. Do not write that down. Stop writing. This is for a function named f, whose independent variable is called x. What's my independent variable this time? It ain't x. It's n is my independent variable. So it would be f of n if my function was named f. Quit writing! Because this function's not named f. This function is named g sub 1. Just tells me it's the first function named g. That's all the g sub 1 means. I told you I wish they didn't do that, but that's all it means. So it's g sub 1 of n is 2n. Where's the disconnect? Where's the confusion? Where's the Okay, good talk, thanks. I mean, I really cleared that up, just like that.
I didn't have
If you guys don't tell me what like the issue is, look, I can't help. Do 4, just do 4. Hey, do 4. Pick a number, 1 through 22. It's 1.
G sub 2. The parentheses in.
So we say of. G sub 2 of n.
Equals 3n.
That's how we roll.
Roll tide.
Very nice.
Roll tide.
Questions on 4? Is it okay with that now? Just looked odd the first time, so it scared you away. 5. What's g sub 1 of 30 representing the situation? So I'm gonna call on someone for that too, because that's what we did yesterday. So I don't feel like I should have to teach that. G sub 1 of 30. So you have to interpret the meaning. I'll give you 30 seconds. Think about it. Yeah, so when it says, what does it represent? Just that means tell me in words what g sub 1 of 30 means. And then find the answer.
problem.
30.
No. Put it in words.
Okay, pick a number, 1 through 22. It's 13.
Well, that's me.
5.
Don't put it in words.
Yeah, so tell me what is G sub 1 of 30 asking?
I think it means Jenny answered 30 questions.
Okay? You're halfway to what it's asking. If I ask you for G sub 1 of 30, what am I asking you?
How much money she made
From the 30 questions.
That's it. Because I bring up G sub 1, I'm looking for the output, the Y value, which is money earned. So this is saying how much money did Jenny earn for $30? How did you know it was Jenny and not
Because
Gennaro?
it's sub 1, not sub 2.
Yeah, that's all the sub 1 meant. We're talking about the first one, right? So, yes. So in this situation, we're asking how much money for Jenny for 30 problems. And what is the answer? What's the value? $60. I tell you what, if they let me do this, we'll be making bank. I just do this for a living. Work 20 minutes of problems and make $2. On the coordinate plane, can you sketch these functions and label the axes? So I want us to label the axes first.
Oh, the independent is Y.
Yes.
Y is the independent.
No. Yes.
Dependent Y, independent.
Shut up.
Never mind.
So the x-axis is my independent variable.
Told y'all.
The y-axis is my dependent variable. So in this problem, what is my x-axis representing? Problems solved. Probs solved. What does the y-axis represent? Money earned. So now we're kind of reviewing graphs of what's this graph going to look like? Pretty steady? Steady increase? Will it be steady increasing? It is a steady increase. I want a little more than that. I want a little more specific answer than a steady increase. It is going to be a function. That's true. It's going to be linear. That's the word I was looking for. Okay? Your steady increase is what makes it linear. Have a constant rate of change. Okay? Both of them will be constant rates of change. So how do I graph that? How do I graph G sub 1 of n equals 2n? Yes, you're correct. Very carefully. Very carefully. Well, I told you, what's the shape of the graph look like? Linear. How did you graph stuff that was a line? Up. Yeah. Channel your 8th grade self. How did your 8th grade self graph lines? Y equals mx plus b. 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 Yeah. So, what did y equals mx plus b tell me?
The slope.
Where? Where did I know the slope? Where? Where?
X.
X the slope?
Well,
No, X is the independent variable.
X over Y. X over Y. Because
There's confusion! Nobody knows!
it's up and over. It's up and over.
Yes. So the slope is the rise over run, which is the change in y over change in x, which we can find as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
forgot it's called rise over.
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
said up over. Over.
So what did we call, what was this called? Y equals mx plus b?
Slope intercept form.
Now, this is a crazy idea. I got a crazy idea here. These mathematicians who came up with this, they named it for a very specific reason.
Because they intercept.
Because when it's in this form, there are two things that are very easy to identify.
The intercept and the form.
No. When it's in this form, it's very easy to spot the slope and the y-intercept. I can find the slope and the y-intercept. When it's in slope, intercept form, gives me the slope and the y-intercept. So all I got to remember is, where do I find the slope?
X over the change of x over the change over y.
No, the change of y.
Or the change of y over y.
Yeah, but if it's already in the form of an equation, you're telling me what slope is.
You have to move your.
No, you do none of that. The m is the slope.
I said it first.
When it's in slope-intercept form, the m is the slope. Where's the y-intercept?
Wow.
It is not y. Don't listen to that.
The b value is the y-intercept. Guess what the x and y are? They're random x and y's that make the equation true. That's the whole, we'll talk about that later. I don't have time right now. Okay, so we know the slope and the y-intercept when it's in slope-intercept form. Hey, is this in slope-intercept form?
No.
Why not?
Because it's not y.
It's in function notation? Okay, but this is kind of just like the y, right? And this is kind of just like the independent variable, x. And so this is the number that's being multiplied in front of the x, so this would probably be my m, the slope. But I'm still missing something.
The Y.
Not the y, yeah, the y.
The b.
The y-intercept, which is the b.
It's 1.
It's 1? Because everybody knows we can add 1 to anything and it doesn't change it.
It's 0.
If I had $8 and I added 1 to it, I would still have $8, right? Oh, so plus 1 would change the equation. So I can't do plus 1. Plus 0, the additive identity, because that doesn't change it. It just changes the way it looks. And now I know the y-intercept. It's 0. And what does the y-intercept look like on a graph? On the y-axis, the point that it intercepts. I like that very fancy word. I just say where it crosses. Okay, I'm from San Mount, but you're right. It is where it intercepts. Maybe you'll go on and live in a big city.
What's the intercept form?
It is in
No
slope-intercept
worries.
form. But if I ask you, what's the y-intercept,
Where they
and
meet.
then you say it's where it intercepts the y.
No, where it intercepts on the y axis.
Yeah, and you're right. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just saying you're not. What's chicken soup? It's soup made with chicken. I mean, you're not really saying anything when you say that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just. I mean, you're right. I'm not telling you you're wrong. So there's the point. That's the y-intercept. Because whenever we graph, we have to start with a point. Is the slope a point? No. Slope is the rise over run. It's how much the line is tilted. So if I needed to know a point, the only point in slope-intercept form is the y-intercept. So I start with a point. Then from this point, I use the slope, which means I need to go up to over 1. Okay, but the problem is, look at my scale, right? This little tick mark represents 10. Well, it's going to be hard to go up to right 1. So let's do something in terms of tens. So if I was going up to and right 1, what's another way I could write that? That means the same number.
20 over 10.
Everybody's okay with that? 2 over 1 is 20 over 10. So I could go up 20, which puts me here, right 10, which puts me here. How many times could I do that? Rise 20, run 10. As many times as you want to. If you're very artsy and good at drawing a straight line, you might could just do it once or twice. I don't know if I can use that word with you guys yet. I stink at drawing lines. Terrible. Awful. Garbage. Garbage in French. Huh?
I don't know what you're going to say.
Yeah, what was the word?
It's basically like stinks.
But, what is
I'm not saying it yet. I don't know how, I gotta get to know you guys better.
it? You know it.
It was just expressing my true feelings on the line.
You're just going to say, like, you're bad at it. Right?
Yeah, it was just meant I wasn't any good at drawing lines.
Yeah.
That's all it meant. So this is G sub 1 of n. Can you guys graph G sub 2 of n?
Absolutely.
Is it in slope intercept form?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Plus.
Technically, no.
Kinda.
No,
Yeah.
kinda.
That's the way to do it. Nate, just answer every possible way. No, yes, kind of. You can't miss it. We'll let some lucky person come grab that. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. We're having fun. Wish I was back in Texas. The ocean's no place for a squirrel. Wish I was in Texas, the prettiest place in the world. Why, y'all? Like it's deep in my heart, I'll always be a Texas girl. I wanna go home, 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 home. Yeah, just graph G sub 2 of n. Pick a number 1 through 22. 19.
That's me.
Go graph. Go and conquer. Here's your marker.
I can go with that.
That's a bad throw. It's a bad throw. I threw it low.
It starts at the 0. I can't see it.
What are you doing right now? How are you getting these points?
I must have still looked it
I'm just wondering. I want you to tell the people.
up. 3 over 1.
Yeah, is the slow?
Same as 30 over 1.
30 over 10.
I mean 10, yeah.
He's talking about.
Okay. Okay. You must not be a very good drawer either.
I stink at drawing lines.
Yes, very good. So if you stink at drawing lines, put every dot possible on there. That way when you draw that crooked line, I can see where you're supposed to be drawing. Right? They'd be like, they knew what they were doing, they just can't draw. I know the feeling. I can't either. Questions? That's all you got, isn't it? Let's see if there's something else I'm supposed to tell you guys.
You see why you put the arrow? Yeah. It never stops. Yeah.
This lesson is designed to be done in groups. Pass unit treat number 2. Complete the first row. Class discussion on number 3 through 6. For number 6, introduce LUTs. Label, units, title, and scale. We talked about those. Students should then graph the table using one color for Jeannie, another for Gennaro. Okay, let's everybody got their calculator? Let's just practice with the time we got left. Let's graph these two linear equations in our graphing calculator.
Yay! More work.
How do you remove what's already been graphed? Clear what? You're going to clear what?
Second, no, or
You're gonna click
second
Y,
mode, press
clear
quit.
those numbers.
That's
Y.
So yes, you need to hit y equals because that's where we entered those previous equations. And from the y equals menu, you can highlight the equation and clear them. Just click the clear button. And so what was our first, like look at your y equals. Like what's on the left side of all of those? You see like y sub 1, and then y sub 2, and then y sub 3, y sub 4. It's just the same things as these g sub 1s. They're just letting you know you have multiple y's. Right? That's all the little subscript is. When I say sub 1, right? That's all I'm talking about. Little 2, little 1. So what's going to go in your y sub 1?
0, 0.
So these have to be equations. So you can't put points in.
Oh, wait, for real?
Yeah.
No
No cap.
Y.
Okay.
What? Y equals.
Yeah, I'm blushing. I'm totes embarrassed.
What?
I don't know what that
Well,
is.
you just say
Well, that's like last year. I had to learn that, like, used to be, if you were cooking, it was good. But then Landon was cooked the whole time, which was not good. Yeah, no, I had to learn.
If you're cook, you're just
That's
cooking is
everything we did. Landon, bro, I'm cooked.
I think I do. You just got them. Oh.
So your y sub 1 should be 2x, and your y sub 2 should be 3x. Right? Even though we use ends up here, your calculator requires you to use that x button for the variable. So you should have y1 equals 2x,
That's on
y2 equals 3x. Now if you click graph,
I can't even get on the graph.
click got it. Go to. It's because you put in these ordered pairs that's what you gotta put 2x. And then down, this one's 3x. Does everybody get to graph 2 lines? Now, my.
I don't know how to put it in the calculator though.
Oh.
2x.
Oh,
Here. And then 3. Everybody get 2 lines graphed? Looked around? Now my question is, does the lines on your graphing calculator, does it look like this graph?
Yeah.
Kind of, but your graphing calculator shows more, like it shows multiple quadrants. Everybody know what I'm talking about? When I say quadrants? But this is all in quadrant 1. So if I want this graph to match exactly what's on my graphing calculator, we can do that. Let's click window. It's on the top row, window. So when you type window, you can see stuff like X min, X max, X scale, Y min, Y max, Y scale. Those are the only things I change on there. So X min and X max means, think about my X axis. What is the smallest X value on this graph?
0.
So let's make the X min 0. And then hit the down arrow. What's my X max here?
100.
So let's make it 100. Everybody okay with what I'm doing so far? What's the scale? So how much is each tick mark counting?
10.
10. So make the X scale 10. What's the Y min? 0. What's the Y max?
300.
300. And the Y scale? It could be either one. If you want to go by 10, I think it's actually by 10s. They just have these little lines in between. So I think it's also by 10. Then if I hit graph, after I've done all of that,
Hey.
Oh my God.
That was better.
it should look exactly like what we have. Everybody cool with that? Now, here's your shortcut. If you wanted to go back to the original version, we could go back to window and change them all back, right? To -10, 10, and 1. Or there's a shortcut to do that, okay? So you can click zoom 6. And you're back to where you started. Okay? You okay with that? So we're going to practice. I want you guys to be comfortable with those calculators. We're going to use them all year. So that's really just kind of an introduction to it.
Bro, that's messed up. That's scores, bro.
I got a new phone and Apple Watch yesterday, so I'm trying to test everything out. So,
Oh yeah, I didn't get your new phone. What kind of phone is it?
whatever the Verizon was offering them free if I bought it online, and they also were offering me the whole season of Sunday Ticket. Did you take it? No kidding. That's why I got it. That's also makes it. Hey, we can't leave yet. Hey, leave that door shut. Hey, get back in here. Stay in here. Hey.
What do you do? Yeah, Ellie.
Boo-hoo.
You hoodlum?
Watch it up on Sunday, take it live.
This is a reminder that your phone numbers are
We want people to help clean up the work. That's what it says.
You never had a watch that has its own cell day.
Oh, I told
Like I bought the first ever Apple
That's crazy, bro.
you start wearing your
but it is
hoodies.
not in
I
there.
know.
No, it's sick.
That's the whole reason I wore them.
They don't.
That's the whole reason I wore them.
70s, 40s, 70s, 80s. Do you like any movies?
I can't think of any that I like. I like Harry Potter. Star Wars movies.
That's all his effort.
Literally just a
Dark Knight.
I want to glow.
I've never watched the horror. I started
Arian.
5 years ago. Or 6. I thought I didn't watch all the Marvel stuff. I got like 5 minutes into Iron Man.
Me throwing
Well, I
that.
realized
Ooh.
I had 60 movies left to watch.
And he threw one at me. I took it and threw it back at him.
I don't just love watching movies. Like in my free time, I watch YouTube. And I like listening to podcasts, and then
And the
I
manager
research things, football, and
He sent me it yesterday and he goes, "We're not watching today."
I only watch movies if it's new.
See, we don't.
I won't watch a 1 hour movie. The new season of Quarterback comes out. Or I think it's already out. The new season of Quarterback on Netflix.
Yeah, the receiver.
What ends the Thanksgiving break?
When?
And oh, I didn't know they came out with that.
Wait, okay, do y'all
Not a new
question? Like, this is
I thought there was. I thought they came out with
quarterback was the first.
You didn't have to say that.
Yeah, I thought they came out with a new
That
one.
stuff with
They
Thanksgiving.
were trying to, but they didn't get receiver once a year.
Oh,
I've only watched the first episode.
I just had like a fantasy of like taquitos. You gotta get like an upper.
Oh, okay.
Do y'all eat like stuff like that all the
I would say
time?
next.
Mainly American food. Almost. I did it. Little thing.
They got some serious. Are you guys go?
yay. Yeah, Arian, gosh. Everything. And that's what I say whenever you scream at me. Shut up.
I'll literally take 2
Calculator.
steps for
Not calculator. Calculator.
You drink all the water at practice. Let me. I think I'm out of them. I'll print you one here. And then I don't know if I've posted my lesson yet, but I'll check right now and research. So I don't know what I have on the video. We worked through this whole thing together. And then on the back, I made them try it on their own and went over the answers at the end of class. I don't think I recorded any of this though. So you may have to get those from somebody else.
Thank you.
Sorry. I was thinking, did I need to print another one? I was thinking, no, that's wrong class.